Hi folks, I'm Doug Jones with Danley Sound Labs. This is the first in a series of short videos about DRECT. In this one, we're going to just cover the basics. This will help you get used to DRECT. So let's take a look at it. DRECT is available for both the Mac and PC. I'm going to be using the Mac version for these videos. The PC has the exact same functionality, it just looks a little bit different. Before we start, just a word about equipment. The best way to use DRECT is to have a large monitor connected to your computer. I use a MacBook Pro 13-inch, but I have a 21-inch monitor attached. A large monitor will let you see good detail and makes it easier to create audiences, as we'll see in a future video. It's also a very good idea to have a mouse with a scroll wheel. When you launch DRECT, you'll see this home screen. It's divided into three parts: the mapping window, the frequency response window, and the control window. In this video, we're going to be looking at the mapping window. To get the most out of this video, please go to danleysoundlabs.com and download your own copy of DRECT if you've not already done so. And also, while you're there, download the DRECT demo files from the Danley University page on the website. Open the file called Simple Room and follow along with me. If you've done all that, your screen should look like mine. Let's explore the mapping window. So that we can see it better, let's make it take up the whole screen. Select the Window tab at the top of your window, select Layout, and then Full Screen. You should now see the map window take up your whole screen. First, let's get used to moving the model around. Take your mouse and click and drag anywhere in the mapping window. You can move the model to any orientation you want. The scroll wheel will let you zoom in and out of the window. Now, if you don't have a scroll wheel, you can use the I/O keys and zoom in and out using your keyboard. There are also a number of preset views that you can use. Let's take a look. Up here on the left where it says Default, you can see there's a pull-down menu of preset views. There are also 5 user-assignable views. So if you like a particular orientation, you can set it to one of these 5 user views. Now, when you pull down the menu and select Load 1, it will go to the view that you saved. Next, we see the Rotate Move button. This lets you choose between rotating the model and moving it around the screen. This next button should be used with great care. This will become more evident as you get proficient with DRECT. This HD button renders the coverage map in high definition. If the model is very large, using this button could take a very long time. What I recommend is you get your designs done and then for the presentation to the customer, maybe do one rendering in HD for the proposal. Okay, next is the frequency of the coverage map. That chooses what frequency is going to be mapped in the coverage window. Next, we see the Auto button. If we select the Auto button now, you see that a map is created for you. You can zoom in, rotate, do whatever you want. Usually we leave the Auto button turned on. Now, if you hit the HD button, you can see that it gets a little bit better. But when you move the map, it reverts to a lower resolution. We'll see later on just how to adjust both of these views. Okay, we're going to skip over a few of these controls and come back to them in a future video. But before we wrap this one up, I want to take a quick look at 2 more features. As we said before, here's where you can choose the frequency of the map. Right below it is the smoothing of the map. 1/3 octave is the highest resolution. Full R is the lowest. Full R maps the full spectrum response averaged over the whole frequency range of the speaker. You can use dBA when you want to see the whole frequency spectrum, but with an A weighting. So, do this with me. Let's set the resolution to 1/3 octave and let's plot 1.6 kilohertz. Now, if you zoom in, you can plainly see there are 2 speakers in the model. If you've been in the audio business very long, you should notice that there is something that doesn't look right about this model. 2 loudspeakers can't cover this space that smoothly. There has to be some interference. Well, there is. If you turn on the phase button, you'll see it. Now, some have called this the sales engineering button. With the phase turned off, DRECT plots what's called the power response of the 2 speakers, ignoring the phase. But when the phase is turned on, you can see the interference. You'll also notice that turning down the resolution makes it look better. A 2-octave resolution looks pretty good. In my experience, a 1-octave smoothing with phase on is a pretty good indication of what it's going to sound like. With 3rd octave resolution, the graph probably looks worse than it's going to sound, and with a 2-octave resolution, it probably looks better than it's going to sound. All right, we're almost done with this video. Hang in there. Let's right-click on the map. This pulls up 4 choices. We're only going to look at 2 of them right now. Let's choose Coverage the Movie. If you choose it, you'll see DRECT will step through the octaves from 50 Hz to 12.5K. Now at the moment you can't save this movie. We'll get to that. But you can capture it if you have a third-party screen capturing program. I like Camtasia for this. But it lets you take a look at the coverage as a function of frequency without having to manually step through the octaves. All right, one more feature and that'll be it for this session. Let's right-click again in the coverage window. Choose Select Speaker Mode. You'll see the coverage map will disappear, and if you mouse over a speaker, it will turn red. Up in the top left corner of the window, you'll see a number and a description of the speaker. If you double-click on the speaker, the strip associated with that speaker will appear. Hitting the Escape key returns you to Map View and leaves the strip active. Now, understanding all the functions on the speaker strip is in the next video, but feel free to play around with this. You'll get the idea. Well, that's probably enough for now. I'm Doug Jones, and thank you for your interest in Danley Sound Labs.